welcome to Brewing Success, where growth is the mission, change is the reward, and progress is the goal. I am your host, Andrea Gebhardt. I'm a former educator turned passionate entrepreneur whose desire to create impact has never wavered. I have spent the last decade teaching, mentoring, and coaching people on how to create success in their lives and businesses with proven strategies and systems that not only bring about change, but big results. When it comes down to it, teaching is my specialty, leadership is my jam, and inspiring you to live a bigger, fuller life is what I'm all about. This podcast will give you the knowledge and tools you need to brew success in almost any area of your life. You're going to walk away each week feeling inspired, motivated, and ready to step outside your comfort zone and into the next level of who you're meant to be. Now let's get into today's episode. All right, welcome back to Brewing Success. My name is Andrea Gebhardt, and I'm so glad that you're here with me, whether you're tuning in from the car, the shower, or with your AirPods, getting your growth on while you're getting your things done. I commend you for investing in you and your journey, and I'm so glad that you choose to do that with me and this podcast. So today we're talking about setting yourself up for success, and I'm introducing something that I coach, teach, mentor, and it's called the 5R framework. And I'm excited to take some time to teach you this simple formula that you can use to just not only course correct your path, but you can use this anytime that you're ready to go to the next level. Like you're sitting here and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go to the next level in this or that, whatever it is, pull out the framework. Anytime you feel that nudge, you guys know what I'm talking about, like that nudge, like you can feel the future version of yourself kind of like poking, like, hey, hi, hello, wake up, like get it together. We got things to do. When you feel that nudge that you have, like you need something, like you need that redirection or you need that remotivation, bust out this framework. It's gonna take care of it for you. Get this out and put this framework to use anytime you're ready to make bigger moves towards your passion and your purpose. And if that's you right now, you're like, I want to make bigger moves. I want to make more progress. And I think we all have these thoughts. Like, I think that we all get to a place where we recognize where we've held ourselves back, where we weren't consistent, where we weren't, disciplined, where we lacked commitment, where we lacked dedication, where we allowed procrastination to just really sabotage our progress. And we know all of these things. We were disorganized. We had things go on in our lives that kind of just like knocked us off kilter and interfered with our ability to just put one foot in front of the other. And we see the things that maybe we didn't do well, and we know the things we need to change. And we get to this point and we make this decision. We kind of like plant this flag, like, all right, this is what I want to do. I mean, I'm seeing it all over social media with like friends, like my goal this coming year is to be more organized, be more focused, be this, be this, be this. And that's great. But if you don't have a plan of like how to actually make any of that work, it's not going to work. And you're going to find yourself year after year after year trying to establish the same thing and never really getting anywhere. It's kind of like, if maybe some of you can relate to this, or at least you know somebody who can. It's kind of like the person who every year their goal is to lose 10 pounds. Every year, the same goal is to lose 10 pounds, but they never do because they don't have a plan. They just kind of like throw out this little like Frisbee wish into the universe of wanting to lose weight, and they never get there. And we want to save more money. Well, that'd be same thing. Like we want to get out of debt. Like the goals, I guess you would say, just keep coming back because there was never a plan put in place to help you accomplish them. And that's where this framework is so crucial and so incredible and so powerful, because it allows you to kind of like dial in and sort out exactly what you need to do to set yourself up for success. And coincidentally, this episode is dropping just before the new year, also known as International Resolution Season. However, I want you to save this one because it's not just a new year approach. It's something you can do monthly, quarterly, annually, anytime really you're ready for bigger moves in your life. And honestly, this would even serve as an amazing Sunday reflection for a weekly approach to staying on track and setting yourself up for success. Oftentimes we make the mistake of thinking that we only have 1 month of a whole year to cast vision for our lives. But the truth is, we are allowed to seek as much clarity as we desire, reflect and redirect as needed. What we need to do is we need to work to become practitioners of growth, practitioners of vision, practitioners of action. And once we do, we truly have the power to change the direction of our lives. So let's talk about setting yourself up for success. Let me introduce you to the 5R framework. So the 5 R's stand for reflect, remind, reframe, reset, and release. And I'm going to take you through each one and show you how they work together to help you constantly work toward becoming the best version of who you were created to be. Now, before we dive into this, let me just say that you're listening to this right now. Some of you guys are taking notes. Some of you guys are in a place where you can't take notes. And I will let you know now, and I'll probably remind you later, that I've actually created like a downloadable PDF completely free with all these questions for you to go through and reflect and answer and really become a practitioner of this framework. But if you are taking notes, take notes, because like the inner nerd inside of me, like that's what I do. I have a whole gigantic notebook. Like every time I listen to a podcast episode, actually, that's a lie. Not every time. Sometimes I'm in the shower. Sometimes I'm driving. Sometimes I'm doing hair and makeup. But other times when I'm like sitting down intentionally, like I usually do that on Monday mornings. That's like I come home from dropping the kids off at school. I pick my podcast and I sit down with my little leather-bound notebook and I take notes because it just inspires me and gives me ideas and thoughts and helps me grow, right? I gotta water my own garden. So, I want you to listen to this today. And I want you to come back. I want you to get that PDF. It's in the show notes. I want you to download it. If you can't find it in the show notes, just like DM me and I'll send it to you. I want you to not just listen to it, but I want you to walk yourself through this framework. I want you to feel, and by walk yourself, I mean like actually do it, like actually sit down, carve out some time and complete it. But I want you to feel the power of it. And I want you to feel the way your energy immediately shifts, the way your mindset moves, the way you instantly become empowered. I want you to know that if you are in a slump, this is the fix. If you're afraid to take the next step on your journey, this is going to remedy that fear. If you're starting something new, this framework is going to give you the clarity and the confidence that you need to go forward. If you're wanting to go to the next level, this is that little success hack. This framework creates real shifts that result in real progress. And I want to remind you that you actually harness the power and the ability to turn the page and write a new chapter in your story. And this framework creates the path to do just that. So the first R in the framework is reflect. Before we can move forward, we have to look back. Reflecting isn't just about reviewing the past. It's about taking inventory of the challenges we've faced, the obstacles we've overcome, the wins we've celebrated. It's about creating perspective. So when you go to reflect, whether it's over the past year, the recent season of your life, past month, past week, whatever it is, we want to take this moment to do it. Reflection is an important part of moving forward. So here are some questions that go along with the first R, reflect, that are going to help you start this groundwork, right? Number 1, what challenges did you face? Number 2, how did those challenges make you feel? How did you overcome them? Now, again, thinking about these responses is only going to do so much. Writing it down, journaling it out, really allowing yourself to explore these questions is just going to strengthen the level of success you're going to have when you're done with this. The second part of the reflecting, what wins did you have? How did they make you feel? And what beliefs about yourself did they change? Again, I don't just want you to think about these things. I want you to write them down. I want you to be very specific and very detailed. The deeper you reflect, the stronger the roots of progress grow. It's essential to reflect on our wins and losses because they remind us of our resiliency, areas of growth that are needed, and and the good that has taken place. If we don't stop to reflect, we miss an integral part of the growth process. Measuring progress and allowing what we learn about ourselves to embed itself into how we think, act, and respond in the future. So first, we reflect. Then we reframe, which takes us to the second part of the framework. Reframing is the second step in the framework that is imperative to the growth process. Reframing is the ability to look at something in a new way or from a different perspective. Reframing allows us to, rebrand, if you will, the situation, circumstance, or outcome. People who have the ability to actively reframe are more efficient, they're more positive, and more effective when it comes to leadership and life. Reframing is taking a negative thought, belief, outcome, situation, or experience and turning it into something positive, finding the good, and focusing on the way in which it actually serves you. Reframing negative thoughts and beliefs looks like going from a statement like, I'm not a good mom, to I am learning and growing to be the best mom that I can be. It can sound like, I'm terrible at sales, to I am learning skills and strategies to help me become a good salesperson. So we're taking those negative thoughts or beliefs and we're reframing them into something positive. It can even sound like taking the negative things that occur from this happened to me, reframing it to this happened for me. It can sound like taking things from I have to cook dinner to I get to cook dinner. I have to do a Zoom call to I get to do a Zoom call. When we reframe things, we change the way our brain actually stores information. We change the way we energetically respond. We change our relationship with life and our journey. We start to see things from a new perspective. We begin to operate from a place of gratitude. And before we know it, if we are learning how to appreciate all aspects of our journey, then we are really appreciating all aspects of our journey. It's easy to appreciate the journey when it's easy, right? And it's more difficult to appreciate the journey when it's difficult. But when you start to learn and understand and have this ability to reframe, you understand that, that negative thought you hold, we're going to reframe it into something positive, and that powers you. You're going to take that negative situation or circumstance and dwelling on how it happened to you and understand how it happened for you. How it actually set you up for something better, how it actually, helped you learn a lesson that was viable and not viable, but like vital to that next stage of your life. Reframing from that, I have to do something like it's an obligation to I get to do it. What a gift, and that again, it really helps us operate from a place of gratitude. And when we operate from a gratitude, we open ourselves up to so much more opportunity, positivity, success, all of it. So for this part of the framework, let's explore these questions. Number 1, what are some negative thoughts or beliefs you carry about yourself? So I actually want you to write those down. Now reframe each one into a positive thought or belief. Number 2, revisit the challenges that you listed in the reflect portion. Now, what lessons did you learn? How did those challenges serve you? And number 3, list 10 things you have to do either personally or professionally or a mix of both, and reframe them into I get to statements. When you do this, it's going to help you see and understand the big time power behind that tiny little shift of reframing. Most people get stuck in the negative. Most people get blocked by the negative. Most people, become maintain a victim mentality because everything happens to them. They don't understand that things actually happen for them. And then they just stay in this place of pessimism and negativity. And those are those people who energetically they're draining. Those are those people who stumble over the, slightest things and never seem to really get anywhere because they lack the ability to reframe their thoughts, reframe their circumstances, reframe outcomes in a way that is going to be conducive to their long-term success. The third part of the framework is remind. This is a very empowering part of the framework. You see, when we are in the thick of our journey and the throes of growth, we tend to focus on the adversity, the lack of progress, the pressure, the setbacks, the struggles. And when we do, we find ourselves in a perpetual swirl of doubt and fear, which more often than not completely paralyzes us, keeping us from taking the necessary actions to get us out of that performance rut and back on track. So you may be asking, well, what exactly do I need to remind myself of? Well, I want you to remind yourself of who you are and what you're capable of. We tend to forget our strength, our resiliency, our intelligence, and so much more. We forget how far we've come. We simply forget. And since no one is ever going to come and save you, this work is really important. Only you know the progress that you have made. Only you truly know the battles you've conquered. And so this is your responsibility. So let's take a moment to remind you of how incredible you really are by answering the following questions. Number 1, list the most challenging things you have overcome. Number 2, list your accomplishments, accolades, awards. Number 3, list the things you are most proud of about yourself. And number 4, list what you love the most about who you are. Now, when you look at these lists, you see with your own eyes how freaking awesome you are. You see, we forget those really hard things that we've had to walk through and overcome and learn how to live again after, those things, those really, really hard things. And we don't list them out to have a trophy room full of challenges. It's just to remind you, like, listen, you've already survived 100% of your hardest days. You've already made it through the worst of it. Like, wow. And when you look at your list of accomplishments and accolades and awards and things that you've done in your life, sometimes we forget. When you list the things you're the most proud of about yourself, that's like my favorite because I don't think we ever take enough time to kind of like celebrate who we are. When you look at the list about what you love the most about yourself, I'm telling you, this one right here, it's a needle mover. You're going to see how awesome you are when you look at these lists. How you've already overcome so much, how you've already accomplished some pretty amazing things in your life. You are capable. This is going to remind you that you are capable, that you do actually have a lot going for you, and that you truly are one of a kind, deserving and destined for so much more. Read that list again and again. You will feel even more empowered. Read it again and you'll realize you don't actually suck, that you aren't a failure, and that you really do have what it takes. I'm telling you, stop looking for external validation and praise. Just return to you and remind yourself of how badass you actually are. So far we have reflected, we refrained, we reminded, and now we move on to the fourth, which is reset. So the first few steps of the framework provide you with this 30,000 foot view, if you will, of either the most recent season or year of your life. It offers perspective and the ability to clearly see not only what you've done, but also where you still need to grow and what direction you need to go. We could stop here, literally we could, but we won't, because there's another step in the framework that is catalytic to change, and that is the reset. So this is where we take all of the information from the framework and we reset our mind, our intentions, and our vision for the next year or season we're heading into. The reset gives us the opportunity to apply a hyper level of intentionality to everything we do. Answer the following questions to help you reset. Number 1, what thoughts and beliefs do you want to carry? Number 2, what challenges or setbacks do you anticipate? And how will you plan now to avoid them, or how will you choose to respond to them when they arise? Number 3, what is the current vision you hold for your life? Has it changed? Why? Number 4, what big goals do you want to accomplish? And what smaller things will need to take place over time to help you do it? This is the reset. We're resetting the beliefs and the thoughts that we carry. We're deciding what we want them to be. We are resetting in the way that we approach challenges and setbacks. We're not going to let life just happen to us. We're going to foreshadow, we're going to anticipate certain challenges or adversities that might come our way. And we're going to have a plan of how we're going to work through that. We're going to choose ahead of time how we're going to respond to it. You're not going to shut down anymore. You're not going to drink wine every night for a week to cope. You're not going to, become crazily distracted with things that don't matter. When something doesn't go well, you're not going to do that this time, right? So we're resetting the way that we show up. We're resetting our vision for our life. Guys, your vision might kind of have this big overarching scope, but there's going to be teeny tiny little adjustments to it as you go, because you're on a growth track, because you are learning, because you're becoming somebody new, because you have experiences, because you're learning valuable lessons. And so we're resetting our vision. Sometimes it's good to revisit that. Sometimes it's good to redeclare that. Sometimes it's good to make those adjustments because it holds us accountable to that vision and that dream. And we reset those goals. What is it that you actually want to accomplish? And what are the little things you need to do to make it happen? We're resetting the important pieces of the puzzle for ourselves. And as you work through those questions, you are simultaneously setting new intentions, being mindful of your decisions and actions, and declaring what it is you want to do, and how you're going to do it. And so finally, the 5th R, release, is a big one. Let me just say this. Not all things are meant to go with us into the next phase of your life, into the next season of your life, into the next year. Sometimes things aren't even meant to go into the next week. You guys all have that pair of jeans that you need to get rid of. Right? So it's important that we release and let go of negative thoughts, negative patterns and behaviors, as well as negative people. There's something, I guess you could call it a mantra, and some people call it selfish. I don't. I think it's really important. Something you kind of need to remember and probably want to try to live by. And it's this. It's kind of just taking inventory of your life, right? If it, the thing in question, the person in question, the habit in question, the behavior in question, whatever it is, if it doesn't feed your soul, release it. If it doesn't fuel your vision, release it. If it doesn't add value to your progress or add value to your purpose, release it. If it doesn't support your growth, release it. If it doesn't bring you peace, it's time to let it go. I'm going to say it again. If it doesn't feed your soul, fuel your vision, add value to your purpose, support your growth, or bring you peace, it is time to let it go. Letting something go because it no longer is in alignment with your values or goals isn't failure. It's growth. It's one thing to know what you need and deserve, and it's another to choose it. Remember, when you release what no longer serves you, you regain the power to lean into the things that do. And that's how you take control of your life. That's how you make the big moves. That is how you live at such an intentional level that your efforts and determination to succeed become undeniable. It's how you grow, how you transform, and how you make the journey from who you were to who you were made to be. That, my friends, is the power of the 5R framework. And now, The power to change your life is in your hands. And I sincerely hope, by the way, that you take all that I have given to you today and you apply it. You truly integrate it into the way you do things moving forward. Again, I've even included, for your convenience, of course, a PDF you can download and print with this framework and questions so you can really dig deep and do the work. Listen, if you feel motivated, inspired, and ready for that next level, like, let's do this together. I want you to share this episode with your team, your leader friends, and with someone you know also on a growth track. As always, I'm so glad that you choose to be here with me on this journey. It's amazing, and I'm so grateful. Thank you for joining me here on the Brewing Success podcast, where growth is the mission, change is the reward, and progress is the goal.